Are we live yet? There it goes. You are live. What up, everybody? Welcome to Fishy Hour. My name is Ryan Castro. I am your host, and today it's Thursday. That means we have an interview. So let's get this theme song out of the way, and I'll introduce you to our guest. Welcome to Fishy Hour, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode yesterday. For those of you that weren't able to watch the whole session, I completely understand. It went from a fishy hour to a fishy, like 6 hours, maybe more. It was a long day. I did end up getting the goal of 25 fish, and the guys requested an encore fish, so we ended up getting 26 fish. I was thinking about doing a 50 fish challenge, but I'm so glad I scaled it back to 25. It was a challenge, but it was fun nonetheless. So if you were on there watching, like Cal and Leonard, thanks guys, that was cool. Let's see. All right. So let me start telling you guys a little bit about our guest today. Our guest today is from Central California. He's got his own YouTube channel where he does kayak fishing. He's familiar with the guys from Above the Hook, and he does lingcod, rockfish, other rockfish, and he's even done trips down here to Southern California, like on the Islander, to do mothership trips. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But first, we're gonna talk about how he got into fishing, how he got into kayak fishing, actually, and then we'll take it from there, kind of like our usual pattern. And then after that, I'll open it up for you guys to ask questions. So that's the plan. So without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Ryan Howell. Ryan, let me bring you up on the screen. There you go. Welcome to the show, Ryan. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Good.
Awesome. Cool. Let me turn you up a little bit. Cool. So on Thursdays, we kind of like to get started right away. So as tradition of the show dictates at this point is we have a rating of the pop top. So guest goes first, and hold your drink close to the mic so you can pop. Oh, there you go. That was a good one. Cool. All right, let's go with the rating, guys. From 1 to 10, 10 being the best pop top you ever heard in your life. That's it. Oh, a 9.75. That's really good, Cal. Nice. I think that's like a guest. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to have like on Top Gear where they have like the fastest time. Like I'll have a guest the guest pop top best score. Yeah, I think you have the best score a guest has ever gotten on the show. Oh, 9.7. 9.75 from Cal. Oh, Aiden gives you a 6. Lorenzo says 8. Andrew 9. Tyler a 9. Leonard an 8. Okay, so pretty. I would say a solid 8.5. A solid 8.5, which is like definitely above our usual guest score. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, I don't want to tap it because I want that extra fizz. Here we go. Oh, I have that experience advantage on you.
Yeah.
Got to delay the hiss. Anyway, cheers. Happy Thursday. Cheers. Thanks for doing the show with us.
No problem.
All right, so let's get into it. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown of how we're going to do this. So I also do a spearfishing podcast where I interview spearfishermen from all over the world. I'm going to take that pattern or that template and incorporate it into this show, into this episode. So let's go with what we call it the beginner angler section. And this is basically how you got into fishing in general.
Into fishing in general, I mean, I've been fishing since I was a little kid.
Okay, that's good.
Lake Michigan. I grew up my younger years in Indiana, so I was fishing like southern Lake Michigan for smallmouth bass and perch and stuff like that. So that's where I started, and then moved out here in elementary school and just the SoCal boats and stuff like that. Because I grew up in Southern California.
Yep.
In Ventura County, so fishing the SoCal boats out of Ventura, Channel Islands, Long Beach, and stuff like that. So
that's cool. Like I grew up in SoCal as well. I mean, sorry, in like Ventura County. I was like Ventura, Fillmore, or by Magic Mountain.
Okay. Yeah.
And like later on, Thousand Oaks, like Newbury Park area.
Okay.
But I was never into fishing when I was down there, which is crazy. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So how did you actually get into kayak fishing? Like what pushed you to get into kayak fishing?
My first job was a lifeguard, and we had some kayaks at the pool I was at, but we never used them. And so I asked them if I could buy the kayaks off of them, and they're like, just take them, get rid of them. They're like, taking up space.
Taking up space, yeah.
Yeah, they were Hobie Maui's, which are like Hobie's Yeah, they don't even have the Mirage drive or anything like that. But
Original.
so I took one, and first time I took it out of Broad Beach, so just north of Zuma, and I think I got like in probably 15 feet of water, flipped, lost all my rods, and I had no idea what I was doing in it. So I tried to like look over at the water, like to see how clear it was, and like leaned over too far and just flipped.
Yep, the center of gravity. How was that was your first kayak outing? Your first kayak fishing outing? One of your first?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was my first.
We went out a couple of months ago, and we had a new guy with us, and he was fine the whole day, and then he finally caught a fish, and I think he had released it already, and for some reason he reached back to get something behind the seat, and boom, just went right over. It's crazy. Yeah. That's funny. What parts of Ventura were you fishing at that point, or Central Cal?
At that point, I wasn't fishing mainly the Central Coast. It was mainly Malibu, like from Escondido Creek, County Line, Leo Carrillo, that whole area is where I really started kayak fishing.
That's cool.
Is Malibu, and then like when I graduated high school, moved up to the Central Coast.
But in the Malibu area, there's white sea bass in that area, right? Like what's the main target there?
Mainly calico bass and stuff like that, and then we have years of sea bass and stuff like that. Like we definitely had like when La Jolla was real good for sea bass, it was good there for sea bass too. Like La Jolla hasn't had a real good sea bass year in a while. Like they used to have like probably 6-7 years ago. It was really good, and then after El Nino hit, it's been a lot slower. It seems like.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay. Cool.
But obviously, you still get them occasionally, but just not the numbers like we were getting.
Yeah.
Back then, so or we even there could get limits and stuff like that. So
cool. When you're starting out, like, does anything stick out as far as like challenges that were like that you had to overcome?
Not leaning over the side of the kayak.
Balance issues.
Balance issues. Well, I'm not saying like that kayak wasn't exactly the stablest thing. So
are you pretty tall? We never met in person.
Yeah, I'm about 6 foot. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, that you gotta be super careful. Yeah, it's so easy to tip on that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So
it was definitely weird getting used to that. I guess for me it was at least. I wasn't just surfing or anything like that. Yeah. So the balance on the kayak was off.
And most of the time you're beach launching.
Launching, yeah. I've done very little like harbor launches. Most of my stuff's been surf launches, and then obviously starting in Malibu for kayak fishing, like all you had was surf breaks, and most of them were pretty popular for surfing. So you learn to surf launch.
Yeah, learn to surf it back in.
Yeah, and surf it back in, which is even worse. Like county line's bad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Damage some kayaks there. That's awesome.
Do you remember your first significant fish where you're like, yeah, this is cool. Like I'm into this. Like that sealed the deal for like you kayak fishing.
I don't know. I didn't think it took necessarily a fish for me. It was just like the ability to get to spots that I wasn't able to get to on a boat, and then obviously financially being able to do as a teenager, like be able to fish whenever I wanted to on a kayak. I didn't have to, find money for a boat or anything like that to get out. So it was just like that kayak was free at the time, and then rods at Walmart were cheap. I was going through them every 2 months, but they suck. Yeah, right. And I heard, I better gear and it lasts for years.
Yeah, you didn't feel so bad when you rolled it the first couple of times.
Yeah, I didn't feel bad.
That's funny. When you were starting out, how were you learning about it? Was trial and error, or did you have somebody kind of like?
There was at the time there was a forum, kayaksportfishing.com, which has since I think pretty much disappeared.
Okay.
But it was one of the original forums for kayak fishing.
That's cool.
That, and then La Jolla kayak fishing was still existed, and then Bay Tubers and stuff like that. So kind of through those guys, and there was a couple of guys, Anacapa Bob I fished with, and he taught me a lot. And there's a couple of guys I learned from.
That's a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Anacapa Bob?
Anacapa Bob.
That's cool.
A lot of guys probably know that guy if they've been around kayak fishing for a while. So.
Did you ever fish with him?
Who's that, Anacapa Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I fished with him quite a bit. Like, we used to do Catalina trips, and he comes up to the Central Coast a couple times a year.
Awesome.
Me, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you, okay, So from your beginner days, like what was like one of the hairiest experiences you had?
Since then to now,
Oh no,
being
just like
attacked
from like when you were first starting out, not now.
not now.
Yeah.
Probably just the surf launches, like some of those
Yeah.
surf launches, and just getting pounded on the beach and stuff like that. Like being young and dumb. Like now, I look at that
I
surf
can take
report
this.
and be like, I'm not going. I'll wait until it calms down. But
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
yeah,
That's awesome.
so I would say it's getting pounded on the beaches
Yeah.
by waves.
Okay, cool. So if you were if you could go back in time and give yourself 3 tips from when you were starting out, what would you say to yourself?
Be patient.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good.
Yeah, be patient. Stow your gear, and that's another good tip. Wear your life jacket.
Yeah, right. For real.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's
wear a life jacket. Yeah.
yeah. At this, with that recent like the actress in Glee who like is lost, or I'm not sure what the status is with her, but life jacket was on the boat. You gotta wear it. You gotta wear it.
Gotta wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially on the kayak. Like, I get it. I can swim pretty well, and I mean, the shore, especially if you're fishing offshore in open water, it's definitely a different story. Like your current and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you're in the water, there's a problem. Like to begin with. Like,
even if you can swim, eventually you'll tire out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I'm a mile offshore regularly. I don't know if I could swim a mile without in 50, 60 degree water.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So
crazy. Okay, so see that good stuff comes out of that. Good points. Awesome stuff. Okay. So anything else stick out? Anything else stick out from your I call it your beginner days, as far as like things that happened or significant stories from like people you met that kind of give you a helping hand?
Not anything. I mean, I've been kayaking for almost, I guess it's been 20 years almost now, but it's I mean, learned a ton from other anglers and stuff like that on the water. So, from bait, like making bait and catching rocks, fish, and even like using a fish finder and stuff like that. That's hard to describe. Like, hey, that's on your fish finder right now, kind of a thing. Like, and learning your own fish finder that you could take for granted, I guess. Like,
no, that's very true. Because right now I'm going through that. Like, I'm in La Jolla, and I just want to see on my setup what a school yellowtail looks like. I know they're gonna look like worms and stuff, but I want to see what it looks like on my setup. Right.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly.
I know bait now. I know barracuda, but I haven't seen a school yellowtail on my setup, I guess you could say.
Yeah. My first time at La Jolla, I remember that school of yellowtail coming on, and I dropped down. I was fishing like a Daiwa Luna, which is like a bass reel. It's like a Calcutta. And I had a 3-ounce mega bait, and I sent that down to those worms on my fish finder. And it was 10 minutes later, I got my first yellowtail in a kayak. But it was
nice.
But it was definitely, knowing what I know now, I probably would have not wanted that reel I was using. Like, it's a great bass reel, but
it worked. But it worked, but it wasn't ideal. Yeah. Super cool. Sea Samurai's in here. Kevin Nakata says hi. He's in the chat.
What's up, Kevin?
Dude, did you watch him earlier on the Facebook?
I did.
Dude,
I did not.
He was on there. He was on there calling shots, dude. He's like, all right, I see a school yellowtail. All right, I'm gonna catch one right now. Surface cast.
Got
like
him.
A jerkbait, dude. Boom! I was like, what? Like live. It was amazing. I don't think he could have planned it better.
No.
So good.
That's like
so good. Yeah, you can watch the replay. I think it'll be on the CCA Facebook page. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right, but so let's keep the interview rolling. So let's shift over to the more modern times, I guess you could say, or like your more experienced days, right? What's one of your favorite trips you've been on so far? Not just like a trip, but like this, it could be like something significant because of like someone you went with, or you got a new species or whatever. What sticks out the most?
And kayak fishing in general, I would say like the tournament I run every year definitely sticks out. Like I enjoy being able to fish with those guys on it and stuff like that, and just the amount of guys that come together and stuff like that. I enjoy as far as the kayak fishing, and I get to be very little on that.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell us about that tournament.
It's usually in September, and we've averaged about 100 people at it a year.
Nice.
Up to like, I think our biggest year's been like 160.
Okay.
something like that.
That's really that's a big group.
Yeah, it's a big group of guys. But guys can fish anywhere, pretty much in San Luis Obispo County. And then we get together, have a potluck, awards and stuff like that. But it's I don't know if it'll happen this year with COVID. It doesn't look like it. It's just gonna be hard to do anything with COVID.
Yeah. What was the catalyst for starting it?
I started the kayak fishing forum probably about, I guess, 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
And then I've been running this tournament now for 8 years, and we were just doing like weekend tournaments, like every month. We were just doing like a little get together tournament.
Yep.
And then I finally was like, you know what, I'll just do one bigger tournament a year, and then started that. And then the following year after that, it evolved.
That's cool.
Back. Yeah.
That's super cool.
It's been cool. I enjoy putting it on. Kind of sucks I can't do it this year with COVID, but hopefully next year it'll be back to normal. So
or you kind of have to go without the award ceremony, which is kind of like the main part. It's like the funnest part.
Yeah, that's the fun part is getting everyone together, having the potluck and stuff like that. Like I might do something where it's guys can still come out and fish and we all fish on the same day, but with the get together part, it's obviously hard with what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just real quick for you guys in the chat, we will have a question and answer after a little brief interview. We're almost done. We're going to do another 20 minutes of just kind of some baseline questions so everybody can get to know Ryan. And then we will jump into all your questions. So I see Jeff's question. I see Michael's question. So we will get to those eventually. Okay, guys? Cool. So let's see. So let's talk about your latest trip on the Islander. And have you done the Islander before COVID?
Yes, I've done the Islander before COVID a couple times, and then obviously this year with COVID.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so let's explain. Go ahead and explain what the Islander mothership trip is before. So just like what it is. That way, for people that haven't been on it, they can kind of understand it, and then we'll go into like what it was like doing it during like COVID times. Okay.
So the Islander trip is 2.5 days out at San Clemente Island, usually San Clemente Island. Fishing off of the Islander, which is a sport boat out of Fisherman's Landing. And you're fishing for yellowtail, halibut, white sea bass, whatever San Clemente has to offer. Calico bass, we got tons of calico bass, sheep's head. Guys were getting sugarfish this year, so it was pretty cool. And then they bring you food on the water, they bring you beers on the water. It's pretty cool. Like it's nonstop bringing you food, whatever you need on the water, fresh bait all day. So pretty cool trip as far as that goes.
It's as close to having a butler on the water as you can think of.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. Like, hey, I need more water. They bring you a bottle of water. Like, I need a bait. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, you never run out of bait. Never have a warm beer. It's always cold. Like, whatever you need on the water, they get you. So it's a really cool trip. They have the bunks, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's an awesome trip. If you haven't experienced one, like, it's awesome. Our weather was horrible this year. It was got windy on the first day, and the second day was forecasted to be even worse. So the first day we had like probably 6 or 7 hours of fishing before the wind came up. The yellowtail fishing wasn't the greatest this year. We each got a couple, but it just wasn't phenomenal like it was like last year. I had over a dozen. Like it was like just fantastic fishing. Like you couldn't keep the bonita off your hook, like decent sized bonita too. Like, I mean, they were like 2 foot long bonita, so they still tug, and that's what it's all about, right? So, I mean, it was a blast. But this year was a little bit slower. The current wasn't right, and the wind was just by
that wind.
2 o'clock. Wind was ripping. So, but it was still a fun trip as far as that goes. We caught a lot of fish still, and then day 2 we actually went to Catalina.
Oh, cool.
Which they don't do usually. So we got to fish the other island, which is cool. Went up to Catalina, and I ended up, I think we only caught 1 yellowtail there. I hooked 3 there, I think.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. 3, lost 2, and then, but both of them were like pretty much in Avalon, like right at the point on each side of it. Like,
nice.
I was really like, you could see Avalon on both of them. Like I was right there. So, but do you fish it differently than you would fish for yellowtails in La Jolla? A little bit, only because of the bait choices that they have. Like,
got it.
You obviously have, like, in La Jolla, you're not really going to get anchovies or sardines in this case. Like, we had sardines, so you're not going to get sardines to fish. Like you're going to make mackerel or something, and
Yep.
or whatever's available there. But usually it's mackerel or smelt or something. So you're going to fish it a little bit differently. But it was just free lining sardines essentially. So if they're not as hardy as mackerel, so you can't troll them as fast and stuff like that. But the same surface irons and stuff like that. Two of the ones I hooked were on the yo-yo jig, so it was cool. Yeah, which those are fun to hook. Obviously, I don't know how those came off. I have no idea.
Nice. That's cool. Okay.
How do you lose a fish in trouble?
Yeah. So for the majority of the year, when you fish in your local waters, what's your main target?
Our main target on the Central Coast is rockfish and lingcod. I mean, that's pretty much our bread and butter. That's all we really have. We have occasional halibut and white sea bass, but it's not like where you can set down and target them as much as you can the rockfish.
Got it.
And even when you are targeting them, the rockfish are such a pain in the butt. You end up switching to rockfish. They're so plentiful, and it's hard to not catch. Like it's
for the no skunk. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's very rare you get a skunk when you're rock fishing. So yeah, and we have a unique fishery where, like in Southern California, if you're fishing for rockfish, you're usually going to be fishing fairly deep.
Okay. How deep?
In Southern California versus, like, for us, we could fish in 20 feet of water.
Oh, wow.
20 to like 60, a lot of guys fish only. So, and do phenomenal. So, like, you fish like the kelp beds like you would for calicos, and it's just essentially now rockfish.
That's cool.
Rockfish and lingcod. So most guys fish, I would say, no deeper than 80. And yeah, we're like in Southern California, we're fishing deep for rockfish. And you're, for at least any size to your rockfish, it's a little bit deeper drops and stuff. So at least in my experience with it. Like,
cool. I'm gonna do a quick question from the audience. Kevin Nakata asked, what's your biggest fish you've caught in that area up there?
Up here?
Yeah.
Probably close to like a 20-pound, as far as the rockfish stuff goes, probably 20-pound lingcod.
Nice, dude. I love lingcod. They look like dragons underwater.
They do.
So cool.
They're cool. They're cool fish for sure. They're prehistoric looking. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not definitely prehistoric dragons.
Yeah, 20 pounds is a good fish. That's awesome.
It's a nice lingcod. Yeah.
So let's for guys that are trying to get their rockfish game up. So what do you travel with? Gear setup and
bigger baits.
Bigger baits.
Bigger baits. Like I fish 7-inch, 9-inch swim baits.
Wow.
And then 6-ounce lead heads. 4 to 6 ounces. Even when I'm fishing shallow, I fish heavier bait lead just so when I'm hitting it, it's making a lot more noise. And
like you want the lead head to be clinking on a rock or something?
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, a lot of my lead heads don't have paint on them anymore because it's just they've just been. I fish it like it comes back to Anacapa Bob, which I mentioned earlier. Yeah. He's like, fish it like you want to lose it.
Oh, nice. That's a good piece of advice.
Right, and so like I would just literally like I'm dragging that thing on the bottom and banging it like continuously to the point of I get snagged a lot, but I'd say most of the time I'm able to get it unsnagged just by shaking the rod the right way.
Okay, so let's go with that real quick. I see above the hook guys are in the crowd. What up, Ryan?
We don't want to talk to those guys.
Let's go. Well, we're on the topic of getting stuck, right? What's your favorite technique to get unstuck? I know like some people whip the rod tip.
All right, let me show you here.
Let me go full screen over here. It's like the beauty of doing these shows. It's like anything can happen.
All right.
So you're full screen now.
I'm full speed now.
Yeah, you're full screen. Yeah.
All right. So usually if I'm trying to get a snag unstuck, I go a little bit slack line, and I just balance the rod in my hand and kind of hit it like this a couple times. Nice. And I don't know why that works versus like bigger yanks or anything like that, but that definitely seems to be what works the best for me as far as getting snags.
Super cool. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. As far as like sorry, what was that?
I think Bob taught me that one.
Oh, good. Awesome. Do you what do you travel with? Like as far as like how many rods you take with you?
I usually take only 2.
Okay.
Just because we're only allowed to use 2 rods.
Oh.
Like you're only allowed to use 1 rod, I should say.
Yeah.
So like when you're rock fishing, you're only allowed to use one rod anyway, anywhere in the state.
Okay,
So
cool. That's right.
usually they take two, just because I don't need that many rods. Like I don't use live bait up here, so I don't need a bait tank.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that I do when I'm down south, like I don't usually do up here because I'm not making bait, so I don't need a bait rod. I'm not.
That really slims down your gear. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it slims down your gear a lot. Like I take 2 rods and a tackle box or 2, like just the plano square tackle boxes with
a ton
extra
of lead.
heads. Yeah. And I usually only bring like 4 or 5 things of lead. And
wow.
Yeah, like I don't bring a ton. I haven't ran out yet. Like, but usually like in my gear like boxes, I don't bring a lot. I have like in my seat, I carry like 2 packs, so 4 extra swim lead heads and a pack of swim baits in case like it really goes bad that day.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
That really happens, but it's
And what are you putting on these lead heads? Are you putting like certain plastics? Like what sizes?
I'm putting on like 6.5 inch just big hammer swim baits.
Okay,
like,
cool. Oh, that's cool.
Here, let me grab. I have a box right in front.
Yeah,
of me.
go for it. Yep.
Yeah.
Show and tell. Woo. I love all good interactions happening in the chat, guys. Keep it up. Good stuff. Get your questions ready. We're about to wrap it up, and then we'll go into some questions. Okay. Sweet stuff.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go full screen on you again. There we go.
Yeah. So pretty much my
things are huge.
Yeah. So just 4 ounce lead heads, and then the 6.5 inch.
Oh, dude, that's funny.
Swim baits. So that's like my main thing right there.
Yep. A bit all day.
Yeah, our rockfish up here. So obviously everything else that you would use down there work. I mean, you could use just shrimp flies.
Yeah.
Can use just shrimp flies, but I usually will run just the swim bait and then like a little squid, B2 squid, plastic squid on my top hook. So I'm usually running 2 hooks.
Oh, okay.
So,
cool. Yeah. That makes sense. So you use like the jig head kind of like as like a drop shot weight, and then the little squid on top.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So. Yeah, Chris Blevins is on here. He said, Yelto would eat that. That's so funny.
I'm sure they would.
Chacon's Charter says, I'll use up to 8 ounce lead heads and 10 inch swim baits. Totally agree on bigger baits. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
like
cool.
I'll use the 9 inch or the 10 inch swim baits regularly. Like especially if you're targeting a lingcod.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the guys that like have a little bit more patience and don't want to catch any rockfish will catch like a blue, like a foot long blue rockfish, and then just pin that guy on and send him down with 8 ounces just for a lingcod.
Yeah.
And you're targeting just hitchhiker lingcod at that point.
Cool. Oh yeah. So for those of you guys that know, I'm familiar with hitchhiker. It's basically when a lingcod or when a fish tries to eat the fish you just caught. So we call it a hitchhiker, right? That's cool.
Yep.
That's a good term.
Yeah, that's a very effective and popular technique for some of the guys that like the bigger.
Have you ever tried that heavy lead head technique here in SoCal, like in La Jolla or whatever?
I have not tried. I've never gone down to La Jolla and tried for rockfish at all. Like if I come down there, I'm going for yellowtail or something.
Yeah.
It's a drive for me.
It's a drive, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't usually go down there for rockfish. So I haven't tried. And I haven't tried it even.
I'll give it a try. Looks awesome.
You might, I mean, I'm sure if you went out to the deep marks and stuff like that, like I know some of the guys that fish the deep marks do good on rockfish. I'm sure it would work. So.
Super cool. Yeah.
What kind of know more on that?
Yeah, right. What kind of kayak are you running?
Hobie Outback.
Oh, cool. So, okay.
718.
718. Yeah. Cool. So it's does it have kickoff fins yet, or just a 180?
Just the 180.
Cool. Yeah. So I have that same drive. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need that technical maneuver. You don't need that kind of that sideways or action at your open water, basically, right?
Yeah, I'm open water. Yeah, and I deal with very little. I usually try to fish outside of the kelp anyway and find my own marks with my fish finder and stuff like that. So. Cool.
Okay. Anything specific that you learned? What kind of fish finder are you running?
Running just a Lowrance Chirp 5, I think.
Sweet.
I've had it for a while. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so let's see. I'll make sure I covered everything that was going to ask you about. Before we jump into the questions from the chat, was there what are your do you have any fishing goals for this year or for the future?
Right now is to go tomorrow and catch a halibut.
Oh,
Other than that, other
that's
than
pretty
that,
good. That's awesome. What's your halibut setup like?
tomorrow I'm just gonna be literally bounce balling. I've got 2-pound weights and 11-inch flashers and going for halibut. So.
Cool. No, that's good. So let's I know you put up a great post on your Instagram with it looks like a diagram with the halibut setups. Let me bring it up real quick. So that's a good segue into your social media stuff before we get too carried away with the questions. Where is it? Oh, here it is. That's a good one. You did a halibut rig diagram with a sliding sinker rig, a dropper loop rig, and a bounce ball rig. So I'll have that up on the screen. I'm gonna share the screen real quick with everybody. So let's see. Here we go. So guys, for those of you that are on Instagram, you can check out. Is that right? See it?
Yeah, no, you're good. I'm laughing at
all the comments. Yeah.
I'm laughing at Kevin's question.
All right, so Ryan is CCKF 805 on Instagram, guys. I have it up on the screen so you guys can check that out. So go give him a follow, and he's right. He's doing cool information, putting up cool information, and this is a cool halibut rig diagram for those guys interested in halibut fishing. And then Ryan also has a YouTube channel, RH Yak. RH is for Ryan Howell, I take it.
Yeah.
Right. So RH Yak is his YouTube channel. I'm gonna add you to my check out our friends link on the side too over here on my channel. But yeah, go check him out, and he's got a ton of good videos, a ton of knowledge there for you guys to learn if you guys are interested in a little bit more Central Cal fishing. And I think some of those techniques, if you learn them there, you could also apply them here to our local fishery. I mean, fishing is fishing, right?
I think that's a general
halibut
one. I guess it's pretty general,
right?
To be used anywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. So good stuff. And then if you're in Central Coast, then you want to get hooked up with these guys and their groups and their outings and maybe do their tournaments. CentralCoastKayakFishing.com is your website, right?
Yep. CentralCoastKayakFishing.com, CCKF.net.
Perfect.
We'll get you there. A lot easier to type that.
Yeah, right. And then also, I don't think the Islander is doing any more mothership trips this year. But
I don't think so.
But when they do, they usually post them up here on Fish Village, guys. So Fish Village is like a booking site, and that's how you would find those Islander trips once they get posted up. But here's a picture of what the Islander looks like with all the kayaks loaded up. And I know there's a limitation on, see how the width of these kayaks here? There's a limitation. They won't take Hobie PAs because they're too wide for this rack. And they're also too wide to put them on the side of the boat when they're getting ready to stage them to launch. So there's places where you can rent like outbacks that you can take on this trip. So it'll be just a little bit more, but you can rent a kayak to go on this trip. So if you have a pro angler, you don't have to worry about taking your pro angler. Okay, but it's a cool trip. I recommend it. I've been on it like maybe 4 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago. I went on it. It was super fun. They have it, you can't see it in this picture, but behind where it says Islander, they have like a big old like a big old swim step, and they take your kayak off the rack. Stage it up. You put all the bait tank on there. Then they launch you out of the back. They hold it for you with gaffs, and then you jump in and you're off. You have a bait tank full of bait, and it's just butler.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
You come back, or like say, I caught a fish, come get it, or hey, can I get a water, or whatever. It's amazing. Just up on your radio. Super cool.
Yeah. Your fish does not sit on your kayak all day like you would be at La Jolla.
Yeah.
It goes into a 30-degree water tank. It's frozen within an hour. So.
Okay, cool. Back here. Split screen. There we go. Cool. All right. So yeah, there we go. So guys, let's open it up to any questions you guys might have for Ryan here, and let's keep it going. I think we kept the interview good and nice and tight, and I wanted to leave some space over here in the back end so you guys can ask some questions. So feel free to start popping in your questions. If you could please preface it with a big capitalized question so it makes it easier for me to spot them. I'm going to go up and scroll up and kind of go through the questions I missed from earlier. Okay, so let's get going with those. Let's see. Here we go. I know. There we go. Okay, so Aiden's got a question. It says, do you ever bow hunt or do you hunt or bow fish?
I do not. You could bow fish at Cachuma, which is a lake up here that I live close to.
From a kayak?
Bow fish. Yeah, you can.
That's cool.
I haven't. I looked into getting a bow, and it was like a couple $100 to get a bow with like the reel and all that attached. And I'm like, forget that. It's just for carp. I'm like, it'd be cool to like, because there's so many carp at that lake. Like they're all over the place. Yeah. They're right on the surface, and like, but I'm like, I'm not spending a couple $100 for a bow. I'll probably suck at it.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Let's see. I have another question from. There was a launch question here. Here we go. Jeff W. asked, what's your favorite launch site in Central Coast? Mine are Spooner Cove near Morro Bay in Montaña de Oro.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites for sure. That's a cool one. That or Leffingwell. Leffingwell's probably the easiest up at Cambria. Like you literally back down to the water, similar to La Jolla. Unload. I mean, you can't drive onto the beach. Don't get me wrong. There are people that do that. They get stuck every time. But you can there's a boat ramp that you can back down to the water essentially. Okay. Unload, and you're 15 feet from the water. So that one's really easy and good fishing out of there for sure. I've gotten a ton of big reds and lingcod there. So
nice.
I just get a lot more pressure. But I like going up into Big Sur personally. Like that's my favorite spot to go is up in Big Sur. So fishing up there. That's definitely my place I love being. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, see him getting through these questions.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, so we asked the biggest fish already. Let's see.
Yeah, biggest fish here was probably 20. I've gotten. I think my biggest sea bass was 55, and that was out of Malibu.
Nice. That's a good fish.
Yeah,
that's a good fish.
It was good. It was I was on an ocean kayak at the time. I was on a Trident, and that thing was. I had 2 big sea bass, and that thing was like almost it was submarine style. And it was
semi-submersible.
It was overhead coming in too. Like
wow.
It was big. Like it was bad. Like yeah.
You just kind of like tether those things to the boat and kind of hope that they make it to the shore.
Yeah, I actually put them inside, which didn't help. I put them in the front, which didn't help because then it weighed down my bow coming in. I definitely swam in. I know that. I don't know. It's been a while. That was probably 2012 or 13, so it's been a while.
Okay, Luis says, have you ever had a bad encounter with seals or annoying dogs?
Just in La Jolla.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I have a video on my YouTube channel of like a seal stealing my yellowtail, and it's literally right next to my kayak. Oh. And then like, I get this. I do land the yellowtail, but like it's literally got the yellowtail's tail in its mouth. It's literally like I'm pedaling to keep up with it, and it's like right next to my kayak.
Oh.
Like
that's
yeah.
It's like it's like eating it and making eye contact with you.
Right. Yeah. No, it is. It's brutal. Like your guys' seals down there suck, and so do ours up here. Like in county line and stuff like that. Yeah. Ours up here don't bother us because I don't think they like rockfish.
Oh.
I think I don't like touching rockfish either because they're spiny. Like I come back from a rockfishing trip, my hands are destroyed. Like I use fish grips, otherwise your hands are just like you get poked 100 times. Their spines suck. I mean, anyone that's fished them knows. Like
so I know sculpin have like poison on their spines, but any other fish that.
Not that I know of. Like I think all of them are somewhat. I mean,
venomous. Yeah.
They're not. Yeah, they're somewhat venomous. They're not like obviously the sculpin that are super venomous, but like. I mean, I know I've gotten stabbed by like even coppers and stuff like that, and gotten like my ankle swell up or something if I throw my fish well, and I've gotten stabbed in my foot or something. It
Have you been hit?
hurt.
Have you been hit by a sculpin?
I have not been hit by a
Oh,
sculpin.
cool.
Thank God.
Yeah, right.
I've heard it hurts.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
So knock on wood. Let's see. Fishing with army. Fishing with the army dog. What up, dude? Oh, I thought I had a question. Let's see.
Yeah.
Question.
He was on the mothership trip with us.
Oh, he was? Cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about the great white.
Oh, the great white. Yeah.
that's a Kevin comment you were laughing at earlier.
Yeah. I was laughing at it. So 2014, I think it was. Yeah. So 6-7 years ago, I was kayaking off of Vandenberg Air Force Base. Don't ask me why. And a guy got attacked right before me, like 5 minutes before me, and we helped him into a boat, and they took him to shore. And then we're like, "You want to keep fishing, or you want to go in?" And we're like, "Oh, let's just keep fishing. What's the chances of it happening again?"
Oh, jeez.
And then so the shark circled him and then like bit the front of his kayak, and then on me it full on breached and bit the bottom of my kayak twice. And Kevin's seen it. Like the hole is just, I mean, the bite marks are huge. They're saying it was a 22, 23 foot.
That's a huge shark.
Yeah. So then, yeah, the guy, like Shark Week came, they asked to like look at it and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you see the shark while you were on the water?
I did not.
Just kind of like, it just kind of shook you?
It was literally like it threw me in the water. It didn't like I was in the water. Like my kayak was done.
And then, so once you're in the water, did you get back on the kayak, or walk us through it?
So I got on the back of one of the guys I was with. My buddy that I was with had a pro angler, so I got on the back of that, and then used the VHF radio. We called for a boat, and those guys came. They were probably like 1.5 miles away at that time. They heard us calling for help, and so they turned around and came back and helped us to the beach.
The guys that went to help the first guy.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So you jumped on the boat and you were out.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was on Pro Angler, did he stay in or did he leave?
I was with them. I was fishing with them, so they left too.
Okay,
they
cool.
were like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, we're out.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
So like, I mean that's pretty rare though, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I mean, I know quite a few guys have gotten hit since I've gotten hit. There was a total. I was the 106th recorded shark attack in the U.S. since like 1905 or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like, that's not that common. Like,
yeah.
It's not like it doesn't happen all the time. It's starting to happen more often, as obviously the shark population's coming back. And
that's cool. So you said 106 or 105th?
106th.
Okay, cool. So your friend the other guy was 105th?
Yeah.
Awesome. Trivia question hint. That's good.
Yeah, trivia question.
Aiden asks, do you spearfish?
I do not spearfish.
Cool.
I'm not getting in the water.
Yeah. After that, exactly right. How about San Simeon Beach? Asks Jeff. Do you launch there? Oh, maybe you cut out.
What was that?
How about St. Simeon Beach?
Yeah, cut out. What was that?
Do you beach launch at San Simeon Beach? St. Simeon Beach? Am I cutting out?
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll give it a sec to catch up. Is that better? Hey, give me a sec. Let me Are you there? No, it's going so smooth. Okay, I'm gonna call you back.
I know.
Oh, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yep.
Is it working?
Yep, it's working. Yes.
All right. It's still. All right. Cool.
Let's just keep it going. I was gonna ask. What was I gonna ask? I totally lost. Oh yeah. Jeff's question was, how about San Simeon Beach? Do you launch there?
Yeah, I launched San Simeon quite a bit, up by the pier and stuff like that. But when I'm launching there, it's just as easy to go to Laughing Well because it's only a couple miles apart. I mean, they're 6 miles apart.
Okay. So you prefer that anyway. That makes sense.
A lot of times, yeah. Sometimes I'll go up to San Simeon, but I probably launch there like once or twice a year.
Cool.
And most of the times I just do Laughing Well if I'm going to fish that area.
Dario Simas asks, Where was that great white encounter?
Vandenberg.
Vandenberg. Yes,
It was on the Air Force Base.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
All right,
unless
Nate
you know
said,
someone,
yeah, right. Chacon's Charter says, I saw you last year out of, no, wait, I saw one last year out of St. Simeon, says Chacon's. A great white, I think he's talking about. Cool.
yeah, they're definitely up there. I mean,
that's super cool. Super cool. All right, guys. Keep the questions rolling. If you have any more questions, pop them in the chat. We're just gonna keep talking for a little bit, and as your questions come in, I'll bring them up. Okay. Let's see. We talked a little bit about what the fish finder you use. When you're targeting, let's say you're targeting lingcod, right? What are you looking for? What are you looking for on your sounder?
Structure for the main part. Like, I'm not looking for like
you're not going to see a lingcod.
Like
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not going to see a lot of this stuff. Like, and depending on how deep I'm fishing, like if I'm fishing less than 100 feet of water, I'll have it set to normal. If I'm fishing 100 plus, or even if I'm past the 200-foot mark, definitely I have it like, my fish finder zoomed to where it's 4 times the strength essentially, and it's only looking at the bottom. So that way, like,
so you get the whole like water column. You just get like the last third or something, or last quarter.
Yeah,
Makes
I get
sense.
To, like the last fourth of the water column.
Gives you better resolution.
I'm not looking for arches. Yeah, gives you better resolution, and it increases the size of that stuff. So like a lot of times, like when you're fishing that, I mean, you're not looking for huge structure. I mean, a rock pile out there is going to hold fish, and if you can find a rock pile in the middle of the sand,
it's like a desert.
It's going to hold a lot of fish. So,
yeah. Super cool. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Same approach to like halibut. Kind of look for that structure and then look for the sand next to it. Target those areas.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Okay, let's see. Alyssa's been doing this thing where if she loses fishing gear, she super chats the balance of the cost of the gear she lost. So she lost 2 jigs the other night, 11.57. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks for donating that to the show. Sorry you lost your jigs.
Oh God!
Right?
Don't come fish up here.
That's funny. That's awesome. All right, see, Fishing with the Army Dogs got a question. It says, "Do you like using cast cam?" What is cast cam? Or maybe you're talking about fish cam, or go fish cam. Do you use a go fish cam?
I do. Yeah.
Cool. Are you a ambassador?
I am an ambassador for Go Fish Cam.
Shoot, me too. Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about Go Fish Cam.
I love those things. They're awesome. They're freaking awesome. I bought one. I bought my original from their GoFundMe, or not their GoFundMe, but their like
their initial offer. Yeah.
Yeah, their Indigo or whatever, when they were like $90 or whatever, like the get started one. So like, which took them forever to get. Like I was like, is this thing even real? Like,
did I get scammed? No,
did I get scammed? Yeah. And like, because it took like a year and a half. And then once they came out or whatever, I've gotten them since then, obviously. But yeah, they've been awesome. Like, it's cool to see like how fish react. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Trying to put it up more. Yeah, I mean, that's the coolest part. Like, they're not practical a lot of times to fish with, but they're more to see how the fish are reacting to stuff. They're really cool, and then just to see what's down there, like, in general. I mean, I'm not going to fish with that thing all day. Yeah. But it only lasts an hour. Like, the battery only lasts like an hour and a half, and I'm done with it by then anyway. Yeah. So I have 2 of them that I rock. So, but
cool. Yeah, I'll get to the. Trolling. Yeah, it's cool to see the stuff you're missing.
It is
like
you miss a lot of strikes that you don't even realize. Like, there's a lot of strikes you miss that you don't even feel. And
you get to see the difference between like the species of fish, like a little rockfish will just like beeline it for the bait and just eat it, and like a sheep's head will like swim around it and like swipe at it and swim around it, and then the rockfish just like beeline it, take it, and it's like you bring it up and you're like, oh, there's that rockfish, and then the whole time what was nipping at it was like a different type of fish. So it's cool to see that stuff. Yeah, I use it mostly for like trolling the A-rig. It makes some cool content trolling the A-rig that way. And then also for like recon. So like I'm trying to figure out how to rockfish was trying to figure out how to rockfish before, and then yeah, you get to see like all of the different stuff that's down there. I mean, it's surprising. Oh yeah, they also just updated their app, so it's a cool camera. It's a cool tool.
It's
if you're not into making videos, you can still use it as a tool to like get to know your fishing zone, I guess.
100%. Yeah. If you were just using it for the recon part, it'd still be cool. Like I use it for obviously making videos and stuff like that. So it adds like, and then just being able to watch it, like when you have like the last time I was out and I used it, I had a couple lingcod attack it. Like I've had rock.
Oh, the actual camera?
The actual camera most of the time.
Like awesome.
I've had reds try to eat the camera.
Instead of putting a lure down, you should just put a treble hook on the end of the camera right next to the hook.
I thought about putting one. I think I would hook more fish.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's so good. When you're using it, are you using the infrared light or the green light on it?
I usually don't.
Okay.
I don't unless I'm fishing deep. Like, and it depends on how much sun's out. Like if it's foggy out or something, I use it. But for the most part, all the times what I'll usually do if I'm fishing deep, like my last video I posted, I was in like 120, 130 feet of water and I didn't have the light on and it was still crystal clear down there.
Oh, nice.
But
super good.
It was a nice sunny day and the water was clear. So I didn't think I'll send it down one time and then that's when the app comes in handy because I can look to make sure that the visibility down there is good. And then I'll go from there.
That's cool. You can like adjust like whatever your rig is based on that initial scout. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely like some learning curve to it as far as like how long of a leader to have when you're trolling and all that. So.
Oh yeah, right. So it's like so the lure's not too far away from the camera. You can still actually see the fish. Otherwise, it looks like a little tiny thing back there. Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. Okay, let's see. Okay, that was a do you like the fish cam question, guys? Okay. Oh. Are you using a motor on your kayak?
I am not.
Cool.
No. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Old pedal drive.
Yeah, me too. Pedal drive. It's just it's more things to charge and worry about.
Oh yeah. I already have hard enough time remembering all my stuff.
Okay, let's see. So you fish La Jolla, right? You fish our like the waters down here.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Like, what's your favorite zone to fish that you fish so far?
I like the zone I fish regularly. Like, I definitely like our zone that I have up here, just because it's consistent. You rarely come home with a skunk.
Oh yeah.
You definitely come home with a skunk regularly at La Jolla, or you can.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it. I mean, that's the biggest thing with La Jolla is if you're not on that water every day and where those fish are at and moving and bait and all that, like it's definitely a lot more homework for La Jolla.
Yeah.
Then you can come up here and go out to the kelp bed and just start catching fish.
Sweet.
And that's nice. Like
Kevin's got a great question. It says if you had one fish to chase the rest of your life, which fish would it be?
Oh, go for rockfish.
What was that?
Go for rockfish. No, one
That's
fish.
So funny.
I don't know. Yellowtail are pretty damn fun. Yellowtail are fun off a kayak. Yeah. I don't know. Sea bass are fun too, but they don't fight as hard, I don't think, as yellowtail, in my opinion. Those yellowtail, they just don't give up. Like the tug of a yellowtail, like that's one of the reasons I do that mothership trip, is because it's almost a guarantee you're going out there and you're gonna get some yellowtail.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the most fun part.
Kevin put up the vomit emotion. Oh, you said gopher fish. That's so funny.
That's our like nemesis up here. You'll get like, if you're fishing the kelp beds and fishing like just squid.
Yeah.
Like if you're fishing like, oh my god, it's like you could have 100 fish day of just gophers. Like they'll shit all over your kayak.
Oh man,
they're horrible. But so we always gophers are. Anytime I get to gopher, I always make sure I do a selfie, and that's like my thumbnail for the month.
That's funny. That's funny. Do you ever use squid as bait for rockfish? I guess that's. No squid.
Not. That's good. I don't ever use.
So always lures, always artificial.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I'll put scent on it, like just
Oh yeah.
Procure or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
I don't ever use. I don't
What
know the last
flavor?
time I used.
What flavor Procure?
I use usually like the bloody tuna garlic one
Cool.
is what I use a lot.
Cool.
Just because I can smell it and it smells horrible.
It's gotta work. I mean, if it smells terrible, it's gotta work.
It's gotta work. It smells bad, right?
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, that's the one I use most of the time. But I don't use squid just because it's a mess. Like it's
Got it.
yeah, you gotta cut it up or you gotta use the whole thing. Like I'll probably use it tomorrow. Like if I can't find live bait, like I'll bring some frozen squid for my bounce ball rig to put on the hootsie or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean,
Just to give it that smell, the squid smell.
yeah, to give it that smell, and then obviously, who doesn't love a good piece of squid?
Yeah,
it definitely works. It
Yeah.
definitely works, but like for me, it's just like a lot of my buddies will use it, but they don't catch anything that I'm not catching. So it's not like they're out, especially for rockfish. Those things eat the go fish cam. Like
Exactly.
they're not like it's not rocket science to catch these things. I mean, it's not. I mean, and Kevin's probably sitting here thinking that about yellowtail.
Right.
They're stupid. They're gonna eat anything. Like
That's so funny. What's up?
Kevin's the yellowtail master.
You guys
not.
you guys get reds up there, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of reds.
Do you do anything different to target reds?
I don't. I think the bigger swim baits.
Just bigger swim baits, huh?
Honestly, yeah, because a lot of those.
Dude, I'm gonna
fish,
start dropping those 6-ounce jig heads here in La Jolla. See what happens.
Yeah, I don't do anything different for them. I just like I know when I first started fishing up here, I was fishing like 5-inch swim baits on 2-ounce lead heads max.
What size line are you using on that?
Lead?
Line.
Oh, line 30-pound usually. Nothing.
Just straight
nothing
mono.
More. No, I use braid and then I just do a top shot.
Okay, and so you're using 30-pound braid?
No, braid. I'm using 60.
60-pound braid to 30-pound
leader.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. So
cool. What's your favorite big swim bait brand? Asked Kevin.
I like big hammers, but
are you affiliated with those guys?
Yeah, they send me stuff, but mainly because I use their stuff. Yeah. Like they sponsor my tournament. Like
oh, okay, cool.
I got a package of stuff today, but like I buy their stuff at the local tackle shop too all the time. So like I'm not really necessarily like I guess I am affiliated, but I don't consider my like.
Yeah, it's like
informal.
Hey, it's informal. Yeah.
It is an informal. Yeah. Like he sent stuff today, and I didn't even realize it was coming until.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but I fish their stuff a lot, like because I like it, and it's what's at our local tackle shops too is Big Hammer because he's right out of Santa Barbara, so he lives like 20 minutes away from me.
Oh,
so
cool. Cool. I get to meet him at Fred Hall, Del Mar before they stop.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so I have your channel up on the screen. Let's give everybody the opportunity to get on this before. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat real quick. So here's the link, and where's my chat? Okay. All right, guys. I want to put Ryan's channel here in the chat. Go check him out. Oop. Wait, that's not his channel. That's my channel. Hang on a second, guys. Didn't copy.
Check him out too.
Here we go. Let's see. Refresh. There we go.
Yeah, if you guys are coming up here, hit me up on Instagram or send me a message on one of my videos or the forum.
Perfect.
Hit me up and we'll try to hook up.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm adding that, and I'm also adding your Instagram page to the chat, and I'll put that stuff in the
description
later. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And then centralcoastkayakfishing.com, so you guys don't have to type it.
That's a long one.
I know. I'm just cutting and pasting over here like a madman. All right, cool. All the links are there. And then, okay, so we'll do one last question from Kevin. It says, he says, will they be making a CCKF signature 13-inch swim bait?
Oh, I don't know. I should
ask him. Yeah.
Should ask. You do like he's got up to 9. I need like a bigger one. There's some big ones. There's a couple of companies up here that make like big swim baits that like. There's some probably 12-inch swim baits. Like I haven't fished the big ones like that. The biggest I've fished is the 9s. But I mean, they would work. There's no doubt. I've definitely. I mean, that last video I posted that has those. I think it was a 20-inch Picatio that I caught my ling cut on. Like it was hitchhiker. It wasn't even hooked. Like
Those things are vicious. Okay,
oh,
wait. So
they're horrible.
it's like I'm not letting go of this. I don't care if you bring me on the kayak. Did you gaff it?
Yeah, I gaffed it. I was out there with above the hook last year, and we were fishing one of the other tournaments, the Estero Kayak Fishing Challenge, and I had a rockfish he was on a gopher, which that's what gophers are good for, is catching lingcod, and that's about it. And he was on this gopher, and he literally let go and came back. Like, he just kept coming back. Like, he would not let go of this gopher. Like, it was bad. Like, they're dumb little, they're like puppies.
That's awesome. Okay, so Kevin had a comment, but I somehow closed out the comment in this window. Where is it? He said it was something about like get that bait made and make it glow in the dark or white. I think he said. I lost my window for chat.
It's all glow or all white.
All glow or all white. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Sounds cool.
Like Ryan just posted, like, Fishaholics makes the larger swim baits, which is who I was thinking made them. So Fishaholics, like I said, I think they make up to they make a 12. It definitely keeps the rats off. But even the 9, like the 9 and the 7-inch and the 6.5. I mean, the 6.5's the Gopher's elite, but the 9-inch, I don't think you've ever caught a gopher on a 9-inch swim bait yet. But I wouldn't be surprised. Those things are horrible. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, well, let's wrap this baby up. Cool. So, okay, so you guys have all of Ryan's contact information, all his channels. Go check him out. Make sure you guys give him a subscribe, give him a follow on Instagram. And Ryan, thanks for jumping on here and sharing your knowledge with us and taking the time, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me, and it's cool. It's been a pleasure. And last night, you're doing an awesome job. I love watching the show, and something to watch every evening while I'm making dinner or
cool.
With my kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. One of these days I will make a trip up there. Hopefully with this COVID thing comes down a little bit. That'd be fun. Yeah. I would love to fish those giant swim baits. That's hilarious. I just think it's like unreal that they get bit. So super cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll fish big swim baits. Come up here, we'll fish big swim baits, and we'll get you probably your personal best lingcod, personal best rockfish. Yeah. Awesome. Can guarantee it probably, unless we don't know something about you and you're fishing Alaska or something.
Right. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for jumping on, and we appreciate you jumping on. So we'll talk to you soon. I'll hang up your call and then I'll finish up the show. Okay.
All right. Cool.
Thanks.
Have a good one, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. That was awesome, guys. Huge shout out, guys. Make sure you guys go support Ryan. He's took the time to come up here and share his knowledge with us. So let's go support him. Show him that MMFC supports. And just real quick, guys, I wanted to remind you of this AB 3030 thing that we're dealing with. Make sure you go check out the ccacalifornia.org website. And I know I keep harping on this, but it's super important, guys. I wouldn't be harping on it if it wasn't. Make sure you guys go do those 3 or 4 steps that they're asking us to do. Fill out the form to send a letter to your senator. And if you can afford it, if you can, go support CCA by becoming a member. It's just like $35 for a year. Okay, it's worth it. They're out there advocating for our fishing rights and helping us keep our fishing areas open. Okay, so among other things. Okay, so yeah, just I wanted to mention that here at the end of the show. Make sure you guys do that. ccacalifornia.org. Other than that, let's kick off the music and close this baby out. Again, big shout out to everybody that joined us today and for your excellent questions. I don't know what happened with my window. My chat kind of died, so I'm gonna try to bring it up on a different page over here. Hopefully it doesn't break the internet if I watch my own stream. I'm gonna pause it and then get the chat. There's the chats. All right, so now I can go through the chats and shout people out. Thanks for jumping on, Kevin Nakata, Chris Blevins. I'm gonna call them. What are they? Brian and the alumni of the show, I guess you could say, previous guests. Thanks for jumping on here, Cal, Leonard, Jet, Nate, Aiden, Tony. Thanks for modding today. Luis, good having you on. I know you mentioned you were from Fillmore, so what up, Fillmore in the house? Nate D, Above the Hook. Hope you're still here, Ryan. We should have you guys on the show soon. Let's see. What was on here? Dario, welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you here before. Welcome to the show. Let's see, we have Chacone's Charters. I know you guys are new to the stream as well. Thanks for jumping on. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to stay. Welcome to come back. We're doing this show Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Monday is fishing reports. Everybody calls in, or we do reports on that week's fishing or the weekend's catch. Tuesdays, I get on here and ramble, talk to you guys about random stuff, and we help each other with fishing questions we may have. Wednesdays is now I go fishing live from a kayak, and usually it's in the bays, fishing for spotted bay bass. And we talk while I fish, and you guys tell me how wrong I'm fishing, and I try to adjust my techniques. And then on Thursdays, like today, we have interviews with people in the fishing community. You don't have to be a rock star to be a guest. As long as you have something to share with the community and it's going to be helpful, you're welcome to be a guest on the show. And then Fridays is trivia night. So Fridays we get together and we do 12 questions. Each question is worth 1 point. And then we have 2 bonus questions, each worth 2 points at the end of the normal question round. And it's usually for prizes. It's usually for a shirt, maybe like a Grumpy Spotty shirt, or a Mad Max Fishing Club shirt, or an Angry Butt shirt, right? All designs that I've made when we don't have a sponsor. And when we do have a sponsor, it'll be for something crazy like a half-day trip, or like cooking spices for your latest catch. It just depends on what we can line up for the show. But that happens every Friday, and that's trivia night. And most of the time, some of the questions will be based on our previous guest interview. So I hope you were paying attention today. If you were, show up tomorrow for trivia night, and you'll be ahead of the game with some knowledge. If you missed today's show. Anyway, besides that, we'll have like random fishing questions, random fishing lore questions, or like I'll even throw in some Star Wars questions for Brian to get entertained, and some 80s and 90s action movie quotes for me to get entertained. But anyway, it's a fun time. The whole point of the show is to enjoy and have an hour of fishy entertainment, and forget about your day for at least a little bit, and just enjoy the show with other people that also enjoy fishing. Okay, so that's it. That's it for tonight. Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. for trivia night. Good night. Oh no, my button to end the stream also disappeared. So let me see if I can end it right here. Okay, it's still going. All right, I got my chat back. All right, cool. I got my chat back. All right, guys. Good night.